Welcome to a new video of Seibert Media. I have two guests with me, which is Brad. Hi, Brad.
Hi.
And Chris.
Hey.
I'm very proud that we can produce this video together. And maybe you can introduce yourself and tell us why.
Definitely. So I'm Brad Quirk from Quirk Apps. We're a Melbourne-based company in Australia, and we create Jira solutions for agile at scale.
And I'm Chris Cooke, formerly of Old Street Solutions. We made some great apps that grew very rapidly, and I'm quite excited to be working with Seibert Media at the moment.
You've been a marketplace partner on the Elastic Marketplace for
4 years.
4 years already.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about the apps?
Yeah, definitely. So a fun fact about me is that I'm an agile coach by trade. So having dealt for so long with common customer pain points with everyone that we work with directly, I thought it'd be a good idea to start creating my own solutions in the Jira space that we just couldn't find anywhere else. And initially it was just a hobby of mine during the pandemic, just teaching myself how to code and how to solve these problems for at least one person somewhere out there in the world. But the apps thankfully kept growing and growing, and now it's a fully fledged part of my business, and who we are today.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit why you're sitting here in Wiesbaden in Germany.
The reason why I'm in Wiesbaden is pretty straightforward. So back in Melbourne, we tried quite a lot to promote our apps internally with a limited capability. And when we found that we were hitting a glass ceiling with those efforts, we initially tried to look locally in the market for an agency that could provide sales and marketing uplift for us, but we were pretty disappointed with what was out there, quite frankly. No one had the expertise in the Atlassian space. After some conversations with Chris over the past 12 months, here we are with Seibert. We recognize the capability that your team offers, and it's worth traveling halfway around the world for.
Maybe I can ask you, why did you recommend him to us?
It's a remarkably common progression. Someone's either a bedroom developer doing something on the side, or, like Brad here, an expert on the subject matter and sees a problem, sees an opportunity, starts working on it themselves. And unfortunately, it's just very hard to be all things, a one-man Swiss Army knife. It's hard to do the marketing. A good developer is rarely a good salesman. They seem to be quite different skills. And so people reach a limit. I think your first customers find you, no matter how terrible your marketing is. You've solved a problem that has such a big need that they find you before you're even ready.
100%.
And then once you need to start marketing to people that need a bit of convincing, a bit of education, it just becomes a really thankless task if that's not your passion. I, vocally, publicly, am well known as loving marketing in this space. I have shown that it's possible to grow great apps and give them the revenue they deserve. Talking to Brad, it was just apparent that he needed extra support and help there. But as a small vendor, we only had so much time and so much attention to give. And I've realized, we were always struggling. The partnership with you made so much sense, because you've got this infrastructure, this architecture, these processes, this great team. So you can do more than just a couple of things at a time and actually build scalable things and take all the work off someone like Brad.
Yeah, my understanding is also your picture seemed like you're building a product, and then the first people find you, and then you only have to search for the next. But I think there's a concept in marketing, ideal customer profile, and you don't get that right in the first place. So you have something solved, and some people find you, but you still have to tweak the product so that you can appeal to a greater audience. So I find myself looking at these products as like a lot of moving parts. So it's not only that the marketing doesn't quite get it right, it's sales doesn't get it, the product isn't right either.
Definitely.
The customer isn't right, kind of like looking at the thing in a slightly wrong perspective. So if you can tweak that a little, it will be much smoother for them to onboard the product. And all these things seemingly have to be tweaked together. And that's often in need of having people that really know their game. And as you said, it's different games. It's a truly different game to present an app in front of an audience at an Atlassian community event, or to record a video with the lighting that will then inject like good visuals of your software. And we have completely different teams.
It's exhausting spinning all those plates as a small entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
I think where people get really stuck as well is, you've built something through talking to customers, and then as it starts scaling, you start getting bigger and bigger customers. Oh, this customer's huge. They're representing a lot of revenue, and they want the following 10 things.
Yeah, and then
it's very hard to say no to them
totally
without the
different
experience.
Stuff. That is
Absolutely,
and they also admit that it doesn't help the product, but it helps their compliance, their security, their ability to onboard thousands or hundreds of users. And you say, yeah, okay, I understand that I have to build that, but it's kind of like, never thought of that.
Before you know it, you're whale hunting and you're just in a small rowboat alone, like, oh no, what's happening?
It's a full-time job for sure.
And also, from a technical perspective, so in the very beginning, we thought, okay, we're just going to do marketing and sales, and they're going to do product and support. And still something that is on a broader image, something that we pitch to you and to others. So there's a clear distinction what you do and what we do. But actually, we've been doing a lot of Atlassian Forge coaching for your developers.
Absolutely.
And,
all the hoops you have to jump through, right? Data center testing you have to do every year.
Oh, this is incredible.
Bug bounty is very scary and very expensive if you
Early
don't
on,
have the right process.
Very early on, for
Yeah,
sure.
let's talk about those two. For a data center, we're running an infrastructure that 2 of our sysadmins maintain, where we will automatically fire up all still supported Jira and Confluence versions automatically, and run penetration and tests with
Load testing,
100, load tests, 500 and 2,000 and more users. It's artificial, but it's fully automated. It's something that I'm pretty sure out there are some other vendors who will be able to do that, but it costs us a lot of time and iterations to be able to do that. And it's much easier with cloud because you don't have the variation and the need to spin up so many different servers and try all that. And my assumption is that load testing for a lot of people is just, let's do the minimum. Let's just do whatever is needed. So we tick the box and
we just faked the data. And I'm sure we're not the only vendor that did it.
Me, censor.
I mean, we outsourced, and to that point, it's that's another aspect that was outside our technical capability. But even going back to the Forge aspect as well, we talked about it's quite an onboarding experience to see the benefit, but to go through that journey, to have someone like Seibert who has already almost internally commoditized a lot of those processes that we can just instantly jump in and leverage. That was a clear point of differentiation for us as well.
And then I think it's a natural tendency that you fake stuff, and there's a plethora of vendors out there who call me and tell me, Martin, you should be ISO certified now. Say, I know, we're working on that. Oh, we can speed that up. And then they hold a talk with Atlassian in Copenhagen and tell everyone out there, you can do it in 3 weeks. So, okay, yeah, sure, you can fake your way in 3 weeks maybe. But I think it's also a question of which trajectory do you want to take. We're really into doing that. We're reading those shitty guidelines and try to translate them into a form that we can still remain an agile company and not become this behemoth that will force employees to always do this before they enter the room or whatever. And so getting these things right, sustainable in the long run, is almost impossible for small vendors. You have to fake it if you're small. And there will be a point where you will have to be ISO certified and get other certifications.
It's the only option then to be acquired by a big corporate monolith, is that? Is that the future for all app vendors in the space?
In my opinion, that's kind of like the idea of this video, to tell people, look, there's an alternative.
And what is the alternative? How are you different from the big acquirers?
Okay, so the obvious answer to that is us, but there's definitely other opportunities that you can take than us. He could have hired a bunch of people. He could have, taken a loan with his uncle or whoever could give it to him. So I think the big difference between those people being acquired is that we embark on a journey that will last for years, and there's no clear outcome. So Brad didn't get any money from us, and Brad didn't get any goal or promise from us where we're going to be in 2 years or 5 years time. It's more like a marriage, where you think, oh, it's looking nice. It's something that I can see myself be in the future, and everything feels good from a gut feeling perspective. But we still have to work. We still have to sweat. We still have to do all these things. While what I see in the ecosystem, and it's driving me mad. Like those awesome people that I've met over years, and they have been passionate about helping the customers, growing these products and improving and competing with us and with others, and it was a very fun culture of achieving people. And the first thing that I notice is they disappeared. They don't come anymore because they've fucking sold their company. And
they've signed an NDA, so we don't know how happy they are.
They can say
That's why they disappear.
But also, like, yeah, they sold to disappear. It's kind of like part of the deal. So you have a lock-in period where you still have to maintain the image of still being there. Maybe there's some KPIs that you share, so you're kind of like exploiting and squeezing the lemon so that exactly that KPI juice flows out. But my opinion is the customer's not benefiting, and if the customer's not benefiting in the long run, it's the product and the people running the product and all these people won't be benefiting either.
I think the other thing that really gets hurt as well is these deals, they make them sign a non-compete, which is why we're just like, the Atlassian ecosystem is just having the entrepreneurial spirit emptied out of it. Because every time one of these people joins one of these big acquisitions, they kind of can't build another app in the Atlassian ecosystem. They've signed a deal that says they won't be allowed to. So I think that's why I fear that we're heading to a point where what I did and what Brad's done will be less and less possible in a few years' time.
Yeah, and that's also something what this video is for, is even if you don't want to contact us and talk to Chris or me or Brad about what such a partnership could look like, there are ways that are not as exclusive. Like he can become divorced. There's a possibility to just it doesn't work. I'm gonna try something else with Chris alone or with whatever. So and I think it's a good thing in a marriage. Both partners have to. I don't know whether perform is a good term in that realm, but you have to provide some value, and if you don't, you may not be suitable anymore. And that's good in my opinion, because I think there's a good way of getting out, and so those VC money people do help. If you're old and you want to just not do that anymore because you've done that for, I don't know, 25 years or 30 years or however long, and you think, okay, it's my health is deteriorating, the job doesn't help me anymore, I want to focus on my grandchildren or whatever, then it's probably just a matter of, okay, I'll give that away, and maybe you want to maximize the value, or maybe you want to maximize the value of your employees, or whatever your goal is, but then this exit scenario is something that is interesting. I feel that, so I've been in this game for 27 years now, and I want to do this another 27 years. And so I don't want you to exit. I want you to kind of like start with me and be there for the long run. And I think from a financial perspective, it's so much more valuable. So now you know better, but there's like multiples. But normally in the world that the economy has, you have a multiple for the profits that you make. In the Atlassian ecosystem, people have been lucky to get multiples of the revenue they make, which is a huge difference. Like one is like customer gives you this much money, the other is this is what it's there for.
Since the Silicon Valley Bank, those days are over, I think.
Whatever. I think no matter how you do the comparison, what we're starting here will outgrow what you could get as a present value out of your business today. Because no matter what multiple you take, obviously you'll have to work. You'll have to, if you sell, you can, after the lockup period, you can go away and do something new. But from a financial perspective, running the business longer, growing it yourself is something that probably no one can be doing as good as you can.
So, yes. And here's the problem with acquisitions, is that someone will only give you a valuation. They're run by private equity firms, very conservative institutions, right? They will only give you a number where you will end up losing. Yep. So it's only the right choice for someone that's impatient, right? Because what they'll do is they'll take the money you were going to earn in the next 2 years and give it to you now. They know, especially if you have big enterprise customers they can cross and upsell to, they'll quickly get that money. So you'll find by year 3, we would have, if we had a bit more patience and a bit more direction, we would have earned that money anyway. Brad, we've been talking too much. How are you feeling about it so far?
So I think to summarize exactly what you said before, we found out that with Quirk that we'd hit a glass ceiling, and one way or another, whether it was through insourcing, outsourcing, acquisition, a lot of these scary options just didn't appeal to us because they seemed very short-term focused, and we wanted to be in this for the long run. So having found a partner that, putting my agile coaching hat on, following Simon Sinek's infinite game principle of wanting to build an ecosystem that thrives rather than having an exit strategy or just trying to hit a certain target and then disappearing into the sunset, that's ultimately what I was looking for. So the fact that we might not know what the future holds, so it's really exciting to take that journey together. If we want to call it a marriage, it's fine. But yeah, it's exciting times ahead, so really looking forward to it.
Thank you so much for voicing that, for being here. Thank you so much for joining. And
My pleasure.
I don't know exactly what I wrote you, but after the kind of weird experience of founding the company, I told you, and I'll hold up to that I'll personally invest in making sure we do whatever we can to make it a successful joint journey.
Definitely. It's, like I said, super exciting to be here and really looking forward for the things to come.
Cool. Just going to help.
That'll do. Thanks, guys.
Bye.